Okay, hi guys, and welcome to another Friday evening live stream with me, Kyrie Johari, better known as Pak JoFe, the Keris collector from Singapore, your personal guide to the interesting world of the Keris and its collecting culture. If you are a fan of history, art, and mythology embodied into these traditional daggers that we natives of the Malay world refer to as the Keris, do join do like, share, and subscribe to this channel to join our community right here on the Keris Collector YouTube channel. Okay, now with that aside, with introductions aside, I hope you all had a very interesting week. This is the and before I forget, Ramadan Ya Karim to all my Muslim brothers and sisters. This would be the first Friday of Ramadan, and today would be our fourth day of fasting. Yeah, we started fasting on Tuesday, and today is the fourth day, and alhamdulillah, those of you who are able to fast to perform your obligatory Ramadan fasting, congratulations. And then to those who are maybe unwell and are given the alternatives of not fasting, do not be sad. Okay. Our religion is quite simple actually. Anyway, I was planning on doing a live stream last week, but unfortunately, my schedule was a bit tight and I couldn't find a time that is suitable and practical. And for today, I was thinking of wrapping up with the series of, or the outcome of the Keris restoration. If you recall, in my earlier few videos, I've shared about the Keris that I've brought back from France and began on the restoration process of the piece. Oh, excuse me. Some after fast gas. This anyway, the restoration I would personally have deem it as complete, and for me it is quite satisfactory, and I would like to share with all of you tonight. And for today, if you are watching this live join right now, do shout out in the comments and share where you are from and just maybe your first name perhaps, so that I know who you are, and it can maybe acknowledge your presence tonight with me. For those of you who joining us joining this live stream or on the replay, also I'm not forgetting you. Do reply in the comments and say that you are replaying, watching it from the replay. And as the live stream, of course, is going to be more interactive. If you are joining live, you may proceed with the questions or queries that you might have. Yeah. Anyway, before I start with the itinerary for tonight, which is actually more on the what you should not do or when restoring the fittings of the Keris blades, maybe let's just recap on the item that has been fully restored. I have it right here, and this is it. If you are curious to know how it looks like originally, you can refer to my earlier few videos. Okay, Look at the fittings now. It's all polished and buffed up. Do pardon the lighting. Yeah. It is far more satisfying to look at now as compared to originally. Maybe if I can get the camera to zoom on the pendoko here. Yeah, this is also another interesting outcome. Yep, all the tarnish is gone. And the blade, let's just recap the blade condition. Right. The blade is still retaining its sheen, yeah? If you refer to my previous video on how I buff it up using rice husks and coconut fibers. And as an added bonus, where it was once an empty slot or an empty gap here, I have filled it with a gold bead. This is a 10-carat gold bead, which I managed to acquire. And overall, this is how, I mean, I'm not speaking on behalf of other collectors, but for me as a collector, this is the acceptable condition that is worthy of a collection, yeah? Okay. To get it to its near original finish or how it looked like originally when it was produced, I think it's almost impossible because of wear and tear due to age. But to reach to at least a minimum level of restoration, this would be very, very, I would say, acceptable. And if you one might be wondering why it is not as buffed or rather as polished as how some newer pieces are. This is for a simple reason that I do not heavily apply lacquer or varnish onto it. At the most, I apply a bit of shellac oil, but it has been very, very watered down or diluted, and you will get a semi translucent protection over the original wood, but it does not have that plasticky sheen to it. Yeah, for those heavily polished or shellacked or even varnished wood, because that is my personal preference of how the Keris fitting should feel like in the hands. Yeah. But having said that, as there is not a thick layer of protection over the blade, or sorry, over the fittings, it would be more prone to humidity and mold or even fungus if the humidity and moisture levels gets too high. Yeah. So that's one of the trade-off for having the feel and of the natural wood finish. Yeah. So let me just get started with tonight's slide presentation, which I have created as a quick visual. Yeah. This for this restoration. Yeah. For we've covered. I've covered the essential parts, which is actually the blade that was in the previous two videos, and the first part was, of course, the removal of rust. You can refer to that video and in the, I think, in the last two or the last three. But in the replay, perhaps I will put in the links in the show notes description below. Yeah. And of course, the second part of it was the to achieve that protective sheen or shine on the Keris blade. Yeah. So the method was using the rice husks. Yeah, that video too seems to be quite heavily referenced since it was last uploaded. So I'm glad that some of you have reached out to me and inquired more details, which I have already explained. And some of you have even tried it out. I'm quite amazed that some of you have a very positive feedback as compared to using the traditional warangan method. So kudos to all of you who have achieved the same results or even better results, because some of you have mentioned that if you were to repeat the process for quite a longer period of time, then you get a much more better sheen of it. So I'm thankful that the knowledge that I've shared has become useful for you, for those of you who have tried it out. So again, if you have any queries, do feel free to drop me a message, or even you can, if you're joining me live, you can drop your comments here. Okay. So basically, the purpose of tonight's video is just to share with you what not to do when restoring crease fittings. Now, because the problem is sometimes the traditional Merangis do not really share their trade secrets. Yeah. So one is often left to wonder what is the so-called formal process of restoration. In my opinion, there is no right or wrong, but what is clearly obvious is do not use harsh chemicals. Yeah, that's the number one rule of thumb when restoring the fittings, be it the hilt, the pakaian, the sampir, or even the pendoko for that matter. Yeah. There is a reason why traditionally there are certain natural ingredients that are being used, because it has been proven for generations that these materials do not affect or rather react with the material of the crease blade or adversely. Yeah. Okay. So right. Okay. So let's just to point out, the hulu is actually the hilt, which is this part here. And for when you dismantle the piece, which as I've demonstrated in the earlier video, these the first step, there's two ways to go about doing it. Is either the first, you to clear off all the gunk and whatever tarnish that has been accumulated over time. And the first step is, of course, to use a what do you call, thinner oil or methylated spirits, yeah, to actually not to soak it inside the solution, yeah, as some people my understanding is some people have tried that. That might adversely react with the wood. What my practice is, I would take a piece of rag or a cloth and dip it with this thinner or methylated spirits, and just brush it or wipe it against the overall surface of the hilt. Yeah, and then set it aside to dry off. And then I will take sandpaper. Sandpaper I would use two types. Yeah, one is the 80 grit, and the other is the 120 grit. Yeah, this combination I find that is very effective, both on the hilt and actually on the sampir parts. What this would do is actually it would create a once you sand it over the surface, it will actually remove any physical gunk or even the previous shellac or whatever lacquer material that may still be present on the hilt. And once that is done, you will repeat again to wipe it down with the thinner oil, with the thinner, sorry, or methylated spirits or whatever that you have. Yeah, here locally we call it thinner. Yeah, so thinner is thinner, but sometime on the packaging you will mention, it will be stated as methylated spirits. So that will do too. And of course, a bit of caution for those of you, especially who are smokers. Okay, it's not a habit I would recommend when you are doing it, because methylated spirits are flammable and it might cause an accidental fire. Yeah. So anyway, after that, after it's been set to dry, next is to coat it with some wood oil. Now, wood oil is dependent on your preferences. I have, from my experiences, it doesn't really affect the wood as long as it is meant for wood. Just give it a full coat around it and then leave it to air dry. What happens is, most of the times, wood, after, if it has not been oiled for a very long time, it would start to absorb all these oils, and you realize that sometimes some of the condition, depend on the condition, some of this wood would be, you apply one coat of oil, and within less than 2 minutes you realize that it gets dried up. What that means is that the wood is actually quite dry, and it is absorbing all these all the oils that you have applied. Now, going back to the previous step of sanding down, that is one of the purpose for sanding down the surface, to allow for the pores to open up and to remove any lacquers or that might be clogging up the pores of the wood and preventing it from absorbing the oils. The next step, you may choose to apply beeswax or meant for wood. Personally, I don't really like that to employ that method, because I noticed that if we apply beeswax, unlike shellac, beeswax will cover the surface pores and will result in the wood not able to absorb any oils that you might intend to apply in future. Yeah, or even if it does allow it, but that some of the pores are already clogged up, and that prevents the wood from absorbing evenly the wood oils. Shellac oil would be if you want to have a longer protection of the surface of the hilt. Yeah, you can apply shellac oil. And if in future you decided that you need to re-oil the wood, you can apply a thinner again, and then just reapply the wood oil, and then finish it with shellac. Okay, yeah. This process actually is quite similar to for the sampir, which I will go through shortly. For pandoko, here is a local trade secret of how to remove tarnish from brass material. Yeah. Brass here we refer to as tembaga, and the secret is simple. Just get some tamarind paste, mix it with water, and then make sure that you leave it to soak fully. You must be immersed into this paste of tamarind water, and leave it for overnight. Depending on the level of tarnishing, usually in 24 hours is more than sufficient. But if it's a bigger piece or even a more heavily tarnished, then it might take about another day or two. So that's about 2 days. Rarely do we need to immerse the brass pendoko in tamarind water or tamarind paste for more than 3 days, because usually tamarind reacts with the brass quite fast, and the result would be something similar to what is here, with all the tarnish gone. Okay, there is actually another step, which is to rub it or brush it with soda ash. Yeah, soda ash is another alkaline based, I would say, detergent like paste to it. Yeah, but because as you can see that this brass here has a lot of fine, intricate carvings onto it. Okay, so it may not be that effective. So what I did with this piece was just I left it as it is after rinsing it off with water. Yeah, always bear in mind tamarind paste, to a certain extent it is a bit citric in nature, so you do need to rinse it fully with running water. And what I did was, after that, was I used toothpaste. Yeah, just to make sure that all the traces of acids and remnants of the tamarind is not stuck onto the fine structures here. Yeah. Okay. and that is for how you treat pandokok based materials. If it was gold or silver, it would be much more easier, because the modern day gold and silver polished cloth would be more than sufficient. But for brass products, I do not recommend using uh, modern day chemicals like brasso or autosol, or whatever that you can find at your local hardware store, because what I have observed is that, yes, for to a certain extent, for maybe a period of 6 months to a year, it would appear as if it prevents any further tarnishing. But if you leave it as is for maybe another 2 or 3 years, that's where the tarnish should be somewhat more severe. I suspect there is some sort of chemical reaction reacting with the older metals as compared to the the modern materials are meant for modern metals, uh, because back in the day, like I said, we do not really know what is the original composition and what is the material that they use to produce them. Yeah. So the best method and safest, I would say, is still to rely on traditional practices. Okay, now for the samper, again, it's actually a repeat of the process of how you did for the hilt. Yeah. Um, for the samper, also same thing. You need to sand it down first before you start applying the thinner, and of course followed by the wood oil or shellac oil. The shellac oil is always the last, which is more of a protective coating. Yeah, it serves as a protective coating, and again, it's still up to your preference. If you do not want to have this extra layer of protective coating, and that you are fine with having a routine of every 6 to 9 months, to re-oil the wood fittings, then it is entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong to it. Personally, that's what I go for, because I find that once you apply, even you apply modern day clear shellac coating, or even varnish onto your trace fittings, the extra shine and the plasticky feel that you have when you hold it, that somehow removes the pleasure of appreciating, and the wood feel, the original wood finishing. Yeah. Okay. If you observe here, this was inherent. uh, I got it as is. It was already damaged, and I was considering to patch it with some wood filler, but somehow after a while, I feel like I will just leave it as it is. This somewhat brings a form of character to this entire set. Yeah, to show its age. In certain lighting condition here, you can see the grains, the very, very beautiful grains here. And this is what I was mentioning earlier. To top it up, I actually added a gold bead into where the mouth is. Okay, because I have consulted a few of my other senior collectors from Sumatra, and they agree that this spot here is indicative of where a gold bead or some other metals, or even some gemstone. But looking at the positioning, it is more likely to be a gold bead. Yeah, and so this is as in keeping up with the tradition. Yeah, I completed it in a way, giving it a renewed life. Okay, sorry, I am trying to position it in front of the camera here. Okay, let's see if we can. There you go. And as you can see, with this final finish, not only does this piece now looks more presentable, it looks more dignified with it being restored as compared to its earlier condition, whereby it was unkept and uncared for. Yeah. So, well, I think this concludes the process of restoration, and the follow-up would be, of course, to observe it for the next 6 to 9 months. If any tarnishing or any mold spot or fungus spot starts growing it, which is indicative of moisture and humidity, which is a common problem for us here, Asians living in the tropical climate, especially in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Okay, so here is the opportunity for you to ask any questions or any queries you may have. It may be related to this what I have presented, or if you have anything else in mind, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments, or even in the in the comments, of course. I mean, for those of you joining live, by all means, please post your comments or your queries here. And for those of you watching the replay of this live stream, also, again, do post your questions in the comments, and I will get back to you or reply to you directly in the comments itself. Yeah. Okay, so that is almost about it for the presentation for tonight. Yes, and now if you are a fan of this channel, please do subscribe and ensure that you hit that bell notification icon so that you get notified of any updates from this channel. Most of the time, it would be coming from me, or sometimes some of my colleagues will be assisting in the status updates and posts. Yeah. Okay. Do you also offer your suggestions as to what topics that you would like me to cover for future live streams or even future video segments? And the live stream was more of a new proposal, because I realized that sometimes with my schedule that may not always be consistent. With my work schedule. Yeah, I may not be able to consistently post a pre-recorded or pre-edited a video set in any particular week, and I think a live stream would be the most ideal to share, to keep you guys up to date or of to the latest developments here at the Keris Collector, or even also to know, for me to know what is actually more trending in your mind right now. uh, um, Again, as I've always mentioned, the subject of the Keris is actually quite very broad topic. Yeah. And if there is no specific request or to address, then I would probably just based on what I feel that is important to know, and also based on any queries that I may have received privately, be it privately or in some private discussions. Yeah. Okay, so again, I think I've in the community posts I have updated a few new items that I've received over the past few weeks. Yes, and some of the videos are in post production, so it's I'm still contemplating whether should I just release the raw footages here, or the final edited video for you all to enjoy at a later time. But anyway, since we are here, Let me share. This is actually a video. I would say it's more of the B-roll of what I had in mind. Another unboxing video. But if you are joining me on this live stream, this is your sneak preview of what of the other video that I was preparing to edit. Yeah. Okay, this is actually if you recall, I did post a. Wait, I think I have it right here in front of me. Yes. Yeah, here we go. This unique sheath, very heavy. Okay, which I acquired it from I think it's an estate sale from the UK. Unfortunately, there is no blade that came with it. It only came with the sheath. But if you can see here, the intricate. What attracted me to this was the intricacy of the fittings, and it is actually has quite a weight to it, which I am still contemplating on its provenance. Okay, it does have a very Malay Nusantara floral motifs, but there are some parts of it that just makes me wonder if it is directly Malay, because there seems to be a fusion of motifs that could be suggesting that it's Burmese or even Bugis or even some Oriental, but unlikely it's Oriental because the motifs are clearly Malay. It's just that some motifs seems to be a hybrid mix, yeah. And then, of course, what I am curious to decipher is, of course, this labeling here, which I am still trying to figure out what language it's written in, but it does appears to be written in not in English language, but it could be Dutch or even French. But because I believe it's written in pencil, so I'm being very careful not to accidentally smudge it or make it fade away even further, because the label itself seems to be very, very faded. Okay, if you're looking at the video and you're wondering why there's some blurred, some parts are blurred out, yes, because there's some private mailing address is listed on to the packaging, yeah, which I didn't have time to remove. See, for a package like this, I would say the bubble wrap was an overkill. But I think I do appreciate that much thought has been considered to wrap it in extreme bubble wrap. Let me see, maybe I'll just speed this up a bit. Yeah, this is actually the B-roll, which I was planning to cover in a separate video by itself. But since we are here live tonight and we still have time, I might as well just share the B-roll with you and do the commentary as is. Yeah, I was expecting the piece to be slightly lighter than I thought, but I was proven wrong because I suspect the wood itself is some solid wood, which I am not sure what species of wood has been used to create this. It's very solid and very heavy. And the silver fittings, now I have tested on a small part at the corner here. By a simple test of rubbing it with a silver polished cloth, and surprisingly, the silver did get buffed up and polished, which suggests that this is actually quite a high grade silver. Yeah, it's not some German silver or some alpaca silver. Yeah, and this is genuine silver, and it might have contributed to the additional weight. Yeah. The the Naga pair, the dragon pair, the right at the center part here is quite unique. Yeah. At one glance, you might assume that it's an oriental dragon, but if you look closely at it, there are some similar motifs of the Malay Naga, the Malay dragon. Yeah. And that's why I was a bit conflicted on as to the provenance of this piece. Is it a Malay piece? Is it a Bugis piece? Uh, but with the such detailed ornaments onto this on the silver fittings, it is likely that this may have been commissioned for somebody of status, or somebody of importance. Yeah. So yep, that is the piece, just as to how I have it on my with me right now. Okay, if you're watching with me live on this live stream right now, do drop me a comment and quote your name and where you're watching from. And for those of you who are watching it on the replay, please do drop your comments as well, and just maybe type replay and then your name and your where you're watching it from. And also, if you have any questions and queries, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, or you can find the link in the show note descriptions later, or yeah, as to how to contact me directly. Yeah, see, there's more the detailed look at it. Yeah, the dragons here was what excited me, because this is something rarely that we come across these days. Yeah, even modern reproductions. For me, I'm not talking about others. For me, it's like from my experience and exposure to the various motifs of antique pieces, genuine antique pieces. And it somehow be very glaring and quite a blaring notice that if it's a new reproduction, because there are some key details that new duplicates just will lack. That is how we identify what is genuine and what is not. Yeah. Okay, and in case you are all not aware, on the this, I think I made a notice announcement quite a few. Excuse me. Excuse me. So where was I? Oh yes, in case you are not aware, I am now exclusively only on YouTube. I have disabled the other social media profiles on Facebook, or even Instagram, or even on TikTok, because for a simple reason, I just want to have an easier way of managing the content. Everything will be on one platform, and also you'll be more exclusive, and with the SEO optimization and keyword tagging, it'd be much more easier for people to search for specific content. Yeah, that's why I have decided to redirect all the to one platform, that is YouTube, because I still find that YouTube is the Google of the internet. Yeah, any questions that you have, any queries, is easier to search as compared to on the other platforms like Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, which is more of a fleeting attention. Okay, so I think that would be all for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed what I have shared. And if you have any queries, like again, I hope that you will drop me a comment or even drop me in a private message. Yeah, the links will be in the show notes or even in the channel description. So if you have learned something new for today's video, do have a care and remember to subscribe, like, and share if you would. Your support will help this video to reach out to other Keris enthusiasts out there and allow them to discover and explore deeper into the facets of Keris collecting in upcoming videos. Do share your thoughts and your questions in the comments below, and let's weave the future of Keris collecting together. So with that, thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the next live stream. Have a good weekend.